It's Friday, Spags, which means it's time for you and I and a special guest to give our hottest takes for week 3.
We do have the hottest takes here in our ride or die picks. We're going to be joined by the great Hayden Winks, who's killing it over at Underdog. We're also going to talk some Ace Ventura movie quotes and give them out as fantasy awards. And we're also going to get into all the injuries that matter, including our poor boy, Christian McCaffrey, massacred on Thursday Night Football. So, Pete, let's hit that intro and let's do it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Splash Play, the fantasy football podcast for every game under the sun. And once again, I am Chris Spags, joined by the man behind it all, the man who you are probably on his YouTube channel, enjoying all of his content throughout every minute of the day. He's Peter Overzet. How are you doing, Pete?
I'm doing good. It's Friday. We have Hayden here, about to spout off some hot takes. Don't have any big plans for the weekend, which after my crazy August, I'm very much looking forward to again.
Pete will be here grinding, and part of that grind will be over at Underdog Fantasy with this man guiding all of his choices over there. He's Hayden Winks. You've seen him a bunch in the fantasy football space. And now, Hayden, you are in the casino world. You're basically marketing to everybody out there, using all of your plays to get them to take all these bets over on Underdog. So how is it going for you, my friend?
The key is just to say lock of the week, guaranteed money, and then the people will come. So, Josh and I are just like trying to just make content that we would make ourselves. It's kind of the similar content that we were doing at RotoWorld together, and they don't really tell us to do anything. Just go have a YouTube channel and just go make content. So Josh and I talk about a little bit of everything, a little DFS, a little dynasty, a little redraft, a little best ball. We get into kind of all the things pretty casually.
Have you gotten to do any shows with my pal Tyler, my former coworker over at Barstool, who is doing a great job doing the Not Here to Argue podcast? And I know he's known, if anything, his betting proficiency just as strong as his tweet proficiency.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just firing at all costs. Yeah, no, Tyler's the best. He has his own podcast over at Underdog. Josh and I go on his show every once in a while. He was back in the day. We were talking about NFL draft prospects, and he refused to learn Zach Wilson's name. He kept calling him Kyle. Just the entire thing. So that's just been gold when he's throwing all these interceptions. I love that bit.
Well, it's a lot of fun over there at Underdog. And I guess I do have one question for you. We got to do some plugs and all of that, but I want to talk about Underdog because I think it's interesting what you guys are doing. And I know the shows I was doing at Osmo, what we talk about a lot with NBA news in particular is, don't worry about your books. Don't worry about what they're telling you news-wise and content-wise. I do feel like with Underdog, that's the one exception to the rule where you guys are creating best-in-class content like you were doing at RotoWorld, now NBC Sports Edge. But I guess what was that approach like for you guys? Because it does feel like you guys were doing so much content and you guys were so sharp, but there has to be a bit of a credibility earning process where you're creating this content, but it's not just shilling, like it's legitimately valuable stuff.
Yeah, so we can't play on Underdog, so that's like one of the keys. And all of the data that we have is public data. Like on Underblog, I posted all of the Best Ball Mania 1 data from last year, and that was like the same data that anybody could work with. And that's what I was making all my decisions on when Josh and I were going through the various strategies and all that stuff. So everything's pretty forward facing with Underdog. I'm very thankful that our devs just like pump out the data, and they were willing and they want to create more data for everybody to use. And then I think just the best people that know how to work with the data and make the best decision that follows the news will end up winning. So it's the same formula as like with the DFS stuff. All of that stuff is public on Underdog right now. All of the best ball data is public. And I think next year we'll even have more public data, and that'll probably help out the community as a whole.
Pete, do you have any questions about Underdog you want to ask? I know you don't know a lot about them, not a whole lot of crossover between what you do and what they do, but if you do have anything for Hayden, please feel free to throw it in.
No, as an investor, I'm just sitting back here and letting Hayden pump my bags. It's great. We love
all
Underdog.
That money's going to your guys' matching recessed lighting, it seems.
Yes.
So that's what we're getting back here.
Yeah, all of my money is just spent on electricity bills, so I hope the investments come through for us, Pete.
There you go.
Well, the good news for Pete is he can afford part of his lighting, courtesy of our friends over at Football Outsiders, that people can get in their lives. We talk about DVOA. Across the industry, you'll hear DVOA referenced a lot. They also have a lot of great data and tools on there, and it's just $5 a month if you go over to footballoutsiders.com/subscribe. So go check them out. Of course, that is my day job. helping run things over there. But go support yourself by knowing more about football on a higher level and apply that knowledge to whether you're playing on Underdog or elsewhere. Go use Football Outsiders data for that. Of course, make sure to go check out edjsports.com, who's running 100,000 simulations for each game based off of real game states, trying to find out. Yesterday, they had the under on that Panthers-Texans game. We saw that one hit, and that'll be the case for a lot of their lines where they're bringing data from a different perspective. So go edjsports.com, go check out the matchups page and pour through everything on there. But Hayden, you know the drill. And Pete, I'll let you introduce this one because you did pitch. Actually, there you go. You want to make a Josh Norris rebuttal here, Hayden, before we get into things about your lack of a Subway uniform?
I talk to this guy enough. We got to move on.
That's how I feel when like Jack Settleman pops up in the chat on my chat. It's like, I don't need to bring Jack.
Enough already.
Jack's there for the engagement, though. I feel like Josh is here for the right reasons, to quote his bachelor style camera that he has for himself.
I will say Josh is a low key like comment grinder. You know, he's popping up in all the streams.
Yep.
So let's do this bit, Pete. And I know this came from Pete's brain, but we're going to give away some Ace Ventura Fantasy Awards because Pete said that Hayden's a big Ace Ventura fan. And I guess the first question I'd have, Hayden, is have you in fact watched Ace Ventura? Because people were asking about that on Twitter.
It actually came out the year I was born, but this is like the one movie. There's probably like 5 movies. Usually it's like Will Ferrell movies. Like I've watched Step Brothers and Semi-Pro a billion times. And then Ace Ventura is the other one. I haven't seen any of the important movies, but I think that Ace Ventura is one of the best of all time. So I'm very excited for this one.
Pete, how do you feel about Ace Ventura? Where does it rank in your annals?
I was big into Ace Ventura when I was, teenager, middle schooler.
That's me.
Exactly. I would say, it was like, I was very into all the Adam Sandler movies and all of the Jim Carrey movies, just like slightly before that, probably middle school era.
Yep.
Yeah, it's one of those movies. I pulled some of the quotes here that we're going to give away as awards. And, we got to remember it's 2021. Perhaps the movie, there's some things in there could be perceived as problematic, but we're focusing on the fun parts, the lighthearted parts. Pete, look at me not getting canceled here with this preamble.
What does this mean, Willis? I'll take it.
Just talking at your butt, I guess.
Yes, I'm trusting you, Spags, that you vetted these quotes and aren't going to put us in dicey territory.
Yeah. So let me do the intro I wrote down. Hayden Winks is one of the fantasy football community's preeminent Ace Ventura fans. So let's steal an old Bill Simmons trope and give out awards based on some famous Ace Ventura quotes. And the first one up, and do I have to do line readings of these? Pete, can you pull up the sheet so we can exchange it?
Okay, yeah, I'll pull up the sheet.
So Ace Ventura. If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer. I don't know.
That passes.
Yeah, I'm sure just as funny. Hayden, who would you give that award to?
This has got to be Trey Sermon. I mean, the first 5 minutes of the season, you got nothing from him. I thought Trey Sermon was good coming into the league. And it sounds like with Eli Mitchell's shoulder acting up still, that Trey Sermon has a chance to start this week. And I think that he's good enough to kind of hold on to the job if he can get out there and Eli Mitchell is out. So I think that the 5 minutes that we had to wait, it's Trey Sermon. Hopefully we don't have to wait any longer, though.
Pete, do you agree with that one, or do you want to give an award here? I feel like we put enough quotes here. Maybe we just let Hayden give the awards.
I think we let Hayden do the awards. I'm getting excited for my Ace Ventura line reads.
You can take the next one, Pete.
Okay, all right. So imagine that I just came out of the bathroom. Do not go in there. Woo!
So for me, this has got to be the tight end twos. Just like it was basically Gronk, and then everybody else just got completely canceled. I will say though that the low end tight end ones right now are kind of passable. Like I think Noah Fant's interesting right now. I think that Tyler Higbee at least has the routes that we were looking for. Some like the Kittles and Mark Andrews are kind of iffy, but I think that like at least Logan Thomas is still in the same role. So we go like 9 deep, which we couldn't say last year, but like all the tight end twos that were trying best ball, like all of them just didn't work.
All right, next quote up. And I like the way this worked out, ones that Pete has to do, because this is not deliberate, but boy, this really played in my favor. Who's her? Hey, how would you go with that quote? Who would win that award?
People that were fading the Bucks and the age model and the in-pocket quarterbacks. Like I think that the Bucks are probably going to throw like 50 passing touchdowns this year. And like the age model, unfortunately, is canceled with the Bucks. I think that it's the avocado toast or something. Something's in the water in Tampa. Yeah,
Tom Brady's a trainer talking spicy too and going like the Patriots just didn't love him like the Bucks do. And that was, that's the fun news item of the week that we could tie into that. Pete, do you want to do the next slide reading?
It's kind of hard to talk into the mic while doing that, but excuse me, I'd like to ask you a question.
That is a good one. This has got to be the 49ers beat reporters. I mean, for the first 2 weeks, we got literally nothing from them. We got the healthy scratch Trey Sermon with no news. We got the Brandon Ayuk stuff when we had no idea that was happening. And then we kind of had the entire preseason where it seemed like every single beat reporter was assuming that Trey Lance was going to get in there pretty early. And then he's been like the scout team quarterback right now. So we've got basically nothing for the 49ers beat reporters through 2 weeks.
So the Niners really crushing the Ace Ventura Award so far.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are a really weird, fascinating team right now.
Yeah. A team that loves to run that doesn't have any running backs is always an interesting corollary to throw into the fantasy season. Next quote, be careful with that phone, Lieutenant. In time, you could develop a tumor.
So if it's just like staring at your screen here, this is just like all the fantasy analysts on midnight on Saturday waiting for the Schefter bombs that come through instead of going to sleep or spending time with our families or doing anything important. We're just all sitting here making sure that like Chris Godwin's hamstring's holding up or something stupid.
It's funny you say that. Did you listen to the podcast that Levitan did with Schefter a few weeks ago? And I had kind of always wondered why they were like that. And basically, Schefter gets asked by his sources to wait until Sunday. So he literally waits until Sunday Eastern time, and then he just blasts them all out.
That's so Schefter. It's so gold. To me, if I was on the East Coast, I'd be super pissed at this. At least it's only 9 o'clock on Saturday. But truly, like I'm 26, just turned 27. I should be out doing other things at 9 o'clock on Saturdays, not waiting for Schefter.
Wow, that was a double flex by Hayden. Look how youthful he is as a fantasy analyst, and also the social life that you would have if not for your commitment to your job.
Yeah, and I'm 34 here, and I just need to go to bed. Actually, I am going to bed. I'm not waiting up for these Schefter bombs. I'll see him in the morning.
Yes,
I'm also ageless, and that's why my hair now looks like Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat. That's what I'm going for.
There we go.
All right, Pete, next one up for you.
All right. Warning, assholes may be closer than they appear in the mirror.
To me, this is like the entire Giants organization. We had Jason Garrett, who wanted the beat reporters to call him coach, which I think is just like so silly. And then you had Kenny Galladay screaming at the coaching staff. You have Kadarius Toney missing practices the entire training camp. And then you have like Joe Judge forcing players into retirement for like wind sprint. So to me, it's just like the entire Giants team just is like so unlikable.
Yeah, I think that checks out. That's shocking that a Belichick disciple would end up being unlikable as a coach. Last quote here, and this is the one where we're getting the closest, so of course it falls to me. That's it. Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn. And then he throws up. We're not going to do that part. That's the part we don't do in 2021.
This is Mark Andrews is CJ Uzoma right now. He is just lining up in the slot, not getting many targets, and the passing offense looks pretty bad right now. And I don't know what's happening with Mark Andrews. So right now, he's just doing a pretty solid CJ Uzoma impression right now.
Does this mean CJ Uzoma is Andrews?
Yes, they are each other.
Is there a Dolphins comp we can go to this one? I feel like that's the one that we need to do. Ooh. How about Tua just being a big bag of shit? Can we go?
Just easy with all your slander. I have to deal with this shit every week.
Oh, God.
Those are Ace Ventura Awards. Any other quotes, Hayden, that we missed here that really speak to you as one of the most diehard fans, as somebody who was born the year that hurts the most? I think.
Well, we have the alrighty then, and then we have the guano. He says like a glove. Let's do all the things that you want to do. So those are the other ones I had written down.
I always have one in my head where he's like, "There's something on the wing."
Yes, that whole plane skit is so good.
Yeah.
Honestly, a movie that I do feel like Jim Carrey, like that really prepared him to do the star role. I know we don't talk enough about Ace Ventura these days, but I do think that was really his tour de force. I can't remember a single other actor in that movie besides Dan Marino.
Can we just pull that clip of you like being very serious and saying, "I know we don't talk about Ace Ventura enough."
I'm doing my part for the record.
Yeah.
It's all about spurring the conversation on. We appreciate all of you guys tuning in, by the way. And if I forgot to do the plug up top, but if you have rated, if you haven't yet rated Splash Play 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, do that now because we are giving away guest spots. And at the end of the show, I guess we'll probably let Hayden drop off so he doesn't have to be a party to the randomizer wheel, but we will give away one more guest spot as well as, I guess, a randomizer box on this one, Pete, for somebody who's left us a review. And the reviews are really tallying up fast. So I feel I have to be proud of the audience and give them kudos, Pete, because we actually do get to have a real competition for the giveaway.
It's true. It's for spots, and Hayden is a randomizer box owner. He can attest to it was the hottest gift you could receive this summer, correct, Hayden?
Yes. The wife said that I'm officially an influencer when I'm getting care packages. So yeah, that was a big moment in my life.
You are.
Hopefully your dog was excited, or hopefully you have a dog to let it
The
share
cats,
the randomizer.
the cats don't really play as much fetch compared to the dogs.
That classic cat. That's too good for the room. Too cool for the room, those cats
Right.
out there. But let's do some injuries that actually matter. Hot off the press is this one right before the show. Christian McCaffrey is going to be out for weeks with his hamstring issue. Not long enough to be placed on IR yet. We talked about this one happened yesterday during Thursday Night Football, though for me, I think didn't hurt me too much in Showdown, so I'll take that as a moral victory. But Hayden, how do you feel about Christian McCaffrey? I know Pete's got some takes in the Fantasy Life newsletter that people already got, but how are you feeling about McCaffrey being out? And do you believe that Chuba Hubbard can be this guy who can do a fractional amount like the great Mike Davis did last year?
Yeah, it's the 90% CMC role. We saw that kind of in spurts. I think they were bringing in Duke Johnson for a visit, but right now I think they drafted Chuba Hubbard for a reason. He's a little smaller, but they gave him a goal line carry last night, so I think that he's going to be an upside RB2 for the next couple of weeks.
Pete, you got any thoughts here, or do you just want to regurgitate your Fantasy Life takes?
Yeah, I think the interesting thing to me will be from season-long perspective of like how hard do you go after Chuba? Because like Hayden said, I mean, he's going to be a great plug-and-play start. The question is, if there's a number, right? If we knew McCaffrey's going to be back in 2 weeks, you can't, empty the clip on him. But if you thought that the McCaffrey thing could potentially extend to 5 or 6 weeks, that almost then becomes an empty the clip situation.
Yep, I think that if you're at the bottom of your like league standings right now, like you got to empty the clip. Like you need a couple wins here. If you're sitting at 0-2 or 0-3 going into waiver wires, I think like this is the time where you can't afford not to get some like borderline top 12 weeks.
And in you had some timelines too in the tweets that you posted in the Fantasy Life newsletter too, where I want to give you the shout out for that, because I know that you quoted one of the football doctors, and it does seem like if it's a grade 2 strain, it actually could be a spot that ends up being longer than the Panthers are planning for.
Yeah. And I think in general with fantasy injuries, we're always a little more optimistic than is warranted. And like, you can get the stuff where like, oh, McCaffrey's suiting up, but he's not going to be fully back, or then he suits up and they, limit his snaps. Like the runway for Chuba starts could even be longer than the timeline itself.
Yep.
Yeah, and hopefully they're not playing the Bucs anytime soon. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but that's one that maybe don't play Chuba that week. Another key back here that could be hurt, maybe not playing this week. We'll see how it goes. Dalvin Cook didn't practice today or most of the week after his injury versus Arizona. He's marked as questionable versus Seattle. So, Pete, I'll ask you here, are you worried about Dalvin Cook, and is it time to pick up an Alex Madison off of waivers?
I mean, yeah, I don't think Madison should have been on waivers in anything, 12 team and over. I think he's definitely a good bench stash. So yeah, I think he's going to be a great play. This game looks like one of the best games on the week. I think he has a 55-point over under. So yeah, he would be a smash start in season long, would be a great DFS play. And I think for DFS angle, because it's the late slate, like if you're giving yourself flexibility in the flex spot, like most people probably won't build their lineups with him if it's a game time decision for Dalvin Cook. So I think that could be exploitable.
And how are you feeling about this one where Dalvin, we know the injury history has been there, though he has definitely tried to play through it. Kind of the NFL's equivalent of Anthony Davis, playing through injuries a little bit more in the last year and change to show that he's not injury prone. But do you think this is a spot he's going to get into the lineup?
This is the classic injury where I can't do anything on Saturday night anymore because I'm going to be waiting for Schefter news. But yeah, I'm with you guys. I think that the one thing is last year when Alexander Madison busted, everybody was just like completely tilted off of that. But we got to remember they were down like by 21 points going into halftime, and he got like game scripted out of that. And that was like a really weird game. And then in week 17, when everybody wasn't playing fantasy football, he started and had like 26 half PPR points. So I think that he is like a legit Tony Pollard type of player, fill-in guy, and that deserves to be an RB1 if he gets the full workload.
If you're just looking at this year, Madison not been as great per carry as Dalvin Cook, but in previous years, they've basically been 1-to-1 for when Madison has filled in and taken some drives off, when Dalvin has actually been playing in games. So keep that in mind here. If somehow Cook gets ruled out, you got to upgrade Madison and prepare for him to probably be the chalk play of the week on the DFS sites. DeAndre Hopkins, also a game time decision at Jacksonville. This is one, Hayden, where perhaps they just don't need to roll Hopkins out because they don't need to, but I know this is going to be a big one for Pete's guy, Rondale Moore, potentially if Hopkins can't play, but going against Jacksonville has been a pretty sweet spot so far. So how do you want to handle this one?
This is tough because there's like, I think it's more interesting if he is out there, because I think that people want to play Rondale Moore, but Rondale Moore still sub 50% routes. AJ Green doesn't play the same role as Rondale Moore. So I think like there's like, basically it's like freaking musical chairs. There's 4 spots, 3 chairs. I don't know how that's going to work out long-term. So I think it's more interesting if he does play. And the fact that he's injured, it just makes like an already complicated situation even more complicated.
Pete, how turgid are you for Rondale Moore potentially here?
Well, it's funny because the early ownership projections weren't that high on Rondale Moore, but like Hayden said, I mean, now that if he is a true game time decision, that's going to really creep up because that tag will look very attractive at 5,000. But it's interesting that both him and as well as AJ Green and Christian Kirk all projecting under 5 ownership. So it's one of those spots where basically maybe anyone on the Cardinals could end up being a good play, but Rondale will probably get the steam right now.
And also worth pointing out, Arizona going against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's secondary giving up a lot of production, according to DVOA, to all the wide receivers, giving up a 56% boost to wide receiver ones, a 51% boost to 91% boost to wide receiver twos. So whoever's in there is going to be in a pretty good spot, whether it be Hopkins or AJ Green playing the poorest man version of DeAndre Hopkins. T. Higgins, a Bengals player who is suiting up today, but I guess Zach Taylor said he's doubtful to play. So Pete, you have been a big fan of the Bengals youth movement at wide receiver. Does T. Higgins being out bump up anybody for you, or potentially being out?
Yeah, I think so. I think with any of these, it's basically the Gallup situation where you remove Gallup and all of a sudden Amari Cooper and Lamb just project incredible. That's what's going to happen with Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd. Both of them, I think, will become pretty chalky. I mean, Jamar Chase on DraftKings 5,400, Tyler Boyd 4,700. They're going to project very well. And I heard earlier that CJ Uzomah is Mark Andrews, so he might even get a bump.
Hey, Hayden, are you buying in on CJ Uzomah now potentially, or he could take all the T. Higgins role potentially and really put his doppelganger Mark Andrews behind him?
Yeah, it's definitely CJ Uzomah season. Yeah, for me, the Boyd and Jamar Chase really needed this because they were third lowest in neutral pass rate, and to me, the offense, there was enough for 2 of these receivers. So now that you remove one, I think that you could be finally pretty confident in both of those guys.
And I think Chase's role getting a little more defined too, with Higgins and him playing a little more outside, probably seems like a positive too. So definitely one to watch here that could make that game a little more appealing. Though they are playing Pittsburgh, so maybe not that appealing. Carson Wentz was playing at practice, though I guess wasn't fully in work here. Brett Hundley also adds the DraftKings player pool at 4,500. Hayden, what are you doing with Indianapolis in this spot where Carson Wentz 2 sprained ankles? We talked about this a little bit more yesterday and some of these shameful things that have occurred. Pete and my injury history is as you get older, but 2 sprained ankles seems like not where you want your QB to be.
No, definitely not. It's Jonathan Taylor and it's Michael Pittman. I think Michael Pittman's going to separate from just with target share on that team. I don't care that Paris Campbell's back or anything like that. I think that if Pittman's as good as I think, then he'll be a high target share guy. And outside of that, I have no interest.
All right, Pete, any thoughts for you with Carson Wentz? I know we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but maybe he's going to be a go. And are you willing to take a flyer on him if he is going to be a go?
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine. The saying is if you have 2 ankle injuries, you actually have none. So I think he's going to be fine.
And also quick shout out to Douglas in the chat. Just saw my first video of you guys yesterday. Congrats. Good stuff. We're getting congratulated here, which I think it's the first time we've been congratulated for just existing and doing a show, but I'll take it.
Maybe he's congratulating you on naming your future child, Luca.
That's true. That is. Yeah. Hayden, if you missed, I'm naming my child after a basketball player I've never met from a country of origin I've never been to.
Not a bit.
It's a great logic.
That is good stuff. Didn't Eric Bimeford naming his first person CeeDee Lamb or something? How crazy was that? Did you see that?
Yeah, is that I still have it. I assume that was a bit. Do we think that's actually happening?
Well, they tricked us into giving them 2,000 likes. So I want my likes back.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, we got rug pulled on the likes.
After today's show, I'm thinking it might be Ace Ventura Spags coming out. We might have to go back to the negotiation board for the names. A couple more injuries to hit on. Odell Beckham officially set to play. No news on his potential limitations that we talked about yesterday. Hayden, are you willing to ride with Odell Beckham, I guess on Underdog or anywhere else, given the fact that he'll be playing with no Jarvis Landry, but could be some risk here of him just getting a truncated snap count?
The OC kind of indicated that he might be on a snap count, but they're kind of desperate for him just because it's just him out there at wide receiver. So I would say he's a boom bust wide receiver 3. I would not be surprised if Odell Beckham kind of has a Cortland Sutton in him where he just dominates, even though there's a little bit of injury risk just because he's just that good of a player.
Pete, any thoughts for you here with Odell? I know you talked about it yesterday, but you willing to ride?
Yeah, the reports I feel like have been all over the place. It'll go from, it's unlikely to then him saying now he will play if there isn't a setback. I think normally last year in DFS, it was exploitable to play guys coming back from injury because the thesis is if they're fine to get back on the field, the team feels good about it. And then you get an ownership discount. I might just be with this Odell situation as a wait and see thing. I need a wait and see week to know if I need to bother with touching him in DFS.
Yeah, I think it's a reasonable way to look at it. Definitely some risk reward here. So if you are going to play Odell Beckham, try to mitigate your exposures in DFS. Some COVID news too. It's just fun to continue to talk about this stuff. But Antonio Brown is now very questionable, quote unquote, / not expected to play according to some reports due to some of the COVID positives out there. And Pete, I guess, would you give more of a bump to Mike Evans or Chris Godwin if we are going to assume, or Gronk, I guess, if you are to assume that Antonio Brown doesn't go?
Yeah, I mean, we just did it with the T. Higgins thing. We mentioned the Gallup. I mean, these are, good offenses that are getting further concentrated. I do think we'll see some Scotty Miller or maybe Tyler Johnson. I'm curious on Hayden's take on who he thinks benefits the most there. But yeah, I think those big three definitely get a target boost.
Hayden, how about you? Go ahead.
It's Scotty Miller and then Tyler Johnson. To me, I think that there will be a rotation, but they're not going to play down in the red area. It's always like 12 personnel for them. So I think you just give more touchdown and yards and reception equity to the top two guys. I will note though, both teams are top 5 in neutral pace, and I think they'll both be top 5 in neutral pass rate. And then you have those two quarterbacks with those two offenses. I think it's going to be an insane game.
And our last injury that actually matters, Baltimore has a COVID positive amongst their 53-man roster. I don't think it's been revealed yet unless it happened in the last few hours. Contact tracing has begun. We know this is a team that has some key players unvaccinated. So Hayden, at this point, we've been doing this for a year now with the COVID guessing game. But when you hear a report like this, that's pretty ambiguous. Just what's your reaction? Because to me, mine is abject fear with Baltimore in particular.
It sounds like when you get the 49ers beat reporters out into Baltimore to figure out who's got the vaccine for us or who's like got the COVID list. I mean, it is absurd that they haven't listed the player yet. I hope it's not Lamar. It sounded like Lamar had a little diarrhea or something yesterday and didn't practice. So hopefully it's not him.
Pete, any thoughts for you?
Yeah, this one I just need to see more information on as well. It seemed pretty ambiguous, the reports on it.
Yeah, so keep an eye on that, and hopefully no crazy Ravens news comes out. But let's move on here. And guys, hit the like button, whether you're watching on Pete's channel or the Splash Play channel. And also make sure to follow at Hayden Winks, follow at Peter Overzet, and follow at Chris Spags, as well as following at Splash Play Pod, so you can find out whenever we are doing shows, Monday, Thursday, Friday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern. We also will follow you back on at Splash Play Pod, so boost your follower counts and show us a little love on there. But it's time, Pete, for the troll equity play of the week. And you want to give Hayden a quick explainer of what we're looking for here with this troll play.
Yeah, so we're looking for kind of the classic who's going to be the popular play that just falls flat on his face because of this guy. I think always back to like the fullbacks that would get the touchdowns, your Kyle Juszczyk, and everyone tilts that it's not Raheem Mostert or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking for here. I normally look at a very chalk play and think how it could go wrong. I believe the classic one that we did a couple weeks ago and still is true is Van Jefferson scores 2 touchdowns and Cooper Kupp finally comes down to earth. So that would be my troll play for this week again.
Hayden, how about you?
I can see Leonard Fournette starting, getting some random touchdowns, and then the game stacks over there just kind of fall on their face because nobody's willing to play Leonard Fournette.
That's a pretty reasonable one. The Bucs backfield always been a point of consternation on this show and across the industry. For me, my troll play is going to be, according to Osmo's ownership projections, Cooper Kupp projecting to be the highest owned guy in the slate right now. We'll see if that holds up. His price probably too low for a matchup against Tampa Bay. That looks like it'll be a shootout, really, according to every metric out there, even though it's two teams that are defensively sound. But this spot, to me, I feel like Robert Woods having a day that's Cooper Kuppian based on what we've seen the first 2 weeks, I think would be the real troll play here. Everybody's dying to play Cooper Kupp, and then Robert Woods is still there as one thing I would remind people of. And these guys were basically 1-to-1 target share guys. Maybe that's a Jared Goff thing, but am I alone in this, guys? Like, is Robert Woods not like good anymore? Is there a consensus on this?
I mean, I think that Cooper Kupp going off is super bullish for Robert Woods. Like, that Matthew Stafford could throw the ball deep now, and then there's no reason for Robert Woods, who's the same age as Cooper Kupp, just to all of a sudden be a bad player. Like, to me, this is super bullish in general.
Yeah, to me, like the thing for Robert Woods has less to do even with Cooper Kupp. Like we know that both those guys can coexist. It was more, and I bet Hayden knows way better than me, but I know at least was week 1 where he was losing some snaps to Van Jefferson in the 2 wide receiver sets. But I know his targets were back up last week. Do you know if that corrected and he overtook Jefferson?
Yeah, I don't think that's been a problem since then. And I think that the Rams in general have just played like 2 really slow paced offenses to start the year, and they were just like completely dominating in both of those games. So we haven't even seen the Rams like go full out with the passes. So I think that like Robert Woods just kind of been small sample size of noise. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like the number 3 wide receiver this week.
And actually, according to Football Outsiders, these are 2 of the fastest paced teams in neutral situations overall. So should be a lot of play volume going on here. I think Tampa Bay actually might be leading the league at 26 seconds per snap, and the Rams not far behind, 27.2. So interesting spot here with some high totals. And also, I got to read a chat here. I will never not read a complimentary chat, but Lou Dog saying too much handsome for one stream. And I have to say, I don't think I'm an ugly guy, but I feel like I'm getting crushed on this stream right now, though. I'm glad that Pete's not wearing a backwards hat, because I feel like the hair maybe take a point off for that.
I had a very tough choice to go no hat in solidarity with Spags or go with the look, but people are already saying Hayden and I looked very similar on the thumbnail with our Underdog hats and shirts. So I tried to mix it up today, but thank you, Lou. Thank you.
Yeah. Hayden, you want to take any laps here for
talk about
ride?
you being handsome.
Yeah, I think the compliment was largely going for you, Hayden, if we're being honest.
I rocked the backwards hat because I thought that was just what we were going to do on the show. And I think what it is, it's all the lights just like a distraction for all the nonsense going on in my face right now. So yeah, I'm doing a good job with the lighting.
All right, so now it's about time to hit those ride or die picks. So guys, hit that like button. We appreciate that a bunch. Do it for all your YouTube creators, whether you're watching content here on another channel, because that is just a nice thing to do for any shows you're watching. But the first game up in our ride or die picks, actually, no, I shouldn't do that. Pete, please explain ride or die picks. I know Hayden's done the homework, so he knows, but give everybody the elevator pitch on why this game is the best game in the industry, I'd say.
Yeah, so we're going to go game by game. We're going to give hot takes or medium takes here. And the goal is we're trying to rack up points. You get points based on how aggressive your pick is. You get 1 point if you take, say, a spread bet, maybe a guy to score slightly more points than his projection, basically something that has about a 50% chance of happening. If you get a little more aggressive, you get 3 points. That would be like a player projected for 13 points scores over 20 DraftKings points, or a team that is, -3 or +3, them winning on the money line, something that has, I don't know, a 30 to 35% chance of happening. And then if you want to really shoot the long ball, the Hail Mary, that's the 10-pointer. That's this guy's in the winning Millie Maker lineup. You really get crazy with the 10-point pick. So that's the structure of the game.
You feel ready, Hayden? Are you ready to dive into this Thunderdome here? Which, by the way, I need to point out, Pete won last week. I won week 1. I am still up on the year. That's all I'm just going to say to the lead. But how are you feeling, Hayden? You ready?
I'm going to try to come out with 10 pointers that were truthfully 6 or 7 pointers and round up.
Yeah, Hayden already caught on the gist of the game here. The negotiation, especially as a guest, is key to this very esoteric game we play here. But let's start it out with Atlanta getting 22.3 implied points against the Giants, 25.3 implied points here. The Edge Sports line has it at -5 for the Giants, even though the books are at -3. So keep that in mind here, maybe a little bit undervalued. But Hayden, you are the guest here, so please take whatever ride or die pick you want from Atlanta and the Giants.
I'm going to say Mike Davis leads all the non-quarterbacks in fantasy points. So that's Ridley, Sterling Shepard, Saquon, all those guys.
I think that's a great pick, Hayden. I think that's a 10-pointer.
After he's played the first 2 weeks.
I would, yeah, that Hayden already nailed it. That's probably like a 7-pointer, and he's going to get rounded up to a 10 there.
There we go. Love to see
All right. Pete, what do you want?
Okay, I will do, I want to do something with Saquon, but I can't decide if I want to go bullish or bearish on him. I'll go, what will you give me for Saquon? Highest scoring player in the game, including quarterbacks.
That's a 3.
Matt Ryan's really bad right now. I'll give you a 10. You gave me a 10. I'll give you a 10. Done. There we go.
Oh, is that how the game works now?
I buttered up Hayden.
There we go.
Scratches my back, buddy.
All right. Well, Russell Gage out in this game,
tilted.
so I don't even know what I could do now. That boy, am I going to take Olamide Zaccheaus? No, that doesn't seem like a good move either. I'll say, how about Kyle Pitts, highest scoring skill position in the game? Is that a 10-pointer?
Yes, we'll give you 10 for that.
Okay, thank God. All right. So
everybody,
we covered our bases. Yeah, we covered our bases.
We're starting a little light here. I feel like the screws maybe get turned a little more in this game. Chargers 23.8 implied points. Kansas City 30.8 implied points. So a 7-point favorite from them, according to the books out there. Edge Sports line is at -8. So a pretty efficient line there for Vegas, but you can still maybe get a little bit of an edge taking Kansas City. On this spot, Pete, what do you want between the Chargers and Kansas City?
How many points to say Tyreek Hill outscores Justin Herbert?
1.
I would say 3. It's probably projected a couple more points.
I see Tyreek Hill as 20.2 from Osmo, 22.3 for Justin Herbert.
That's a 3 Spags.
I'll give you 3.
Okay. I'll give you 3, but it's a reluctant 3.
That's the spirit of a 3 bet if you really think about it.
All right. I guess for me, I'll do this. This has been paying off for me the last couple of weeks, and I guess I'll do it one more time. Mike Williams, highest scoring pass catcher in the game. Is that a 10-pointer?
Man,
if you're using a longer term projection, it doesn't look as good. If you're using just this year, I think it ends up looking a lot, maybe less like a 10-pointer.
I mean, Hayden, what percentage of the time do you think he outscores Hill, Keenan, and Kelsey?
With Kelsey, I think that maybe you can go to 10 here. I think it was just receivers. I think it's probably closer to a 3.
What did you say, Spags? Did you say
I said all pass catchers.
So all right.
I'll give you 10.
We'll give him 10.
I'll take it. All right, Hayden, what do you want?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, top 5 on the main slate.
Ooh, okay. So that's
top 5 running backs.
Any particular feeling why that is going to be the case for a guy that's, I feel like, getting borderline reviled in the fantasy community these days?
Yeah, he was canceled this week, but the Chargers are running a new defense and they're like super light boxes. They have not added anybody. So this is kind of just like a film grinders trust, like the film grinders take, and then he's just going to have open lanes.
I will say that, like, I think his ownership is going to be fairly high, but like if you told me that he was going to be sub 10% at 4,800 on DraftKings, I would absolutely jam him. I think people are getting way too caught up in it. It's still, if he's at like 20-25%, he becomes a little tougher to play in tournaments. But man, if the field feels so burned at him that they're not playing him at this price, he looks very nice to me.
Yeah, the Chargers giving up 5.6 yards per rush, which is not a perfect stat, but when you combine that with what Hayden mentioned about the defensive schemes, I think that could be a logical reason to take some Clyde Edwards-Helaire at under 5K on DraftKings this week. Next game, we got Washington, 19 implied points against Buffalo, 26.5 implied points for them. The books have this one as a -8 game. Edge Sports has the line at -5, so maybe a little bit of value there in taking a Washington cover. And I guess I'm due to go first in this one, and boy, this is not a great one for me. Buffalo's been really good according to DVOA. -37% so far, but I guess I'll take the Stephon Diggs breakout game. That seems like it's got to happen at some point. He's not been great. He kind of killed me last week, honestly, but I feel like him, number one. Oh, this has got to be a 10-pointer. Number 1 wide receiver on the entire slate. Is that a 10-pointer?
Diggs?
Yeah,
that's a 10-pointer. There's so many wide receivers. Okay.
I'll take it then. Hayden, what do you want?
Can I get Cole Beasley for 20 fantasy points? PPR.
Ooh. Getting leverage on me. It's Hayden, too good. Not even doing it deliberately to spite me like Pete and I usually do, but still that's like
Spags. That's probably like a 6 or a 7 that we're rounding.
We'll go to a 22 PPR points. We'll keep it in the spirit of the game. 22.
Okay, that's perfect. All right, that's a 10-pointer. Well done. I will say, let's do how many points do I need Antonio Gibson to hit for a 10-pointer?
25?
Yeah, I'd say 22 to 25. We'll go 22 and a half, 24. Where are you thinking, Chris?
I think we can split the difference on that and say 23.5.
There we go.
Sold.
Done. Those are the best negotiations. Also, I feel like this game has become like it used to be like playing pickup in the back, like football, basketball pickup in the back. And now it's become like rock and jock. We're just shooting for 5-pointers over and over again. Like it's become a madhouse here, giving away 10-pointers left and right.
I got a quick question. I refuse to say the name, but are we playing potential 3-point bonuses like some sites out there for these like PPR points?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah, I mean, we do count that. I think if you had like they're scoring over 25, I guess that would count because Wills just pulls the regular points. So,
I guess that is true. Yeah.
So but it's like the 100-yard and a touch. Like if you got 100 yards, so it's like the core ones I think would count then.
Yeah, I guess.
But DK points are unfortunately we do use DK points as our metric. So I'm sorry, Hayden. I feel like I've shamed you now by not using underdog scoring.
We got to tighten this up.
Didn't we have JJ on last year? We used FanDuel scoring. We could use underdog scoring.
No, I think we still use DK, but we just didn't say DK.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we're really respectful of our guests in that way. But make sure the plugs are good. That way it balances out. Next game up, Chicago, 18.8 implied points. The official debut, I guess, as a starter of Justin Fields in this one. Cleveland, 25.8 implied points. And I think we're back to you, Hayden, to go first.
Give me Nick Chubb to lead on half PPR, RB1 this week. I just think the matchup is perfect. Home favorites, the whole thing.
All right. So is that a 10-pointer?
Say it again, Hayden.
RB1 overall, half PPR.
Yeah. I think there's so many. Yeah, it's hard for any player to finish number one overall. So I'll allow 10 there.
All right, Pete, you can go next.
How many points do I get if Justin Fields leads all quarterbacks in rushing this week?
Lamar's playing the Lions, so
and we can. How about this? I want 10 points. I'll include Hurts in this, even though he's not on the main slate.
Okay. Well,
that pushes things.
We won't be able to grade that then for the Monday show. That's the one thing I would say. So I don't think you need to include Hurts. I'll even be nice. I won't make you include Hurts.
Nice.
I think that could be a 10-pointer. I mean, like, he did run 10 times and a half of football, so I feel like it's not maybe the bravest take.
Silas, I thought you were my guy. What are you doing?
The Hurts thing matters, I think, because it's basically him. Trey Lance isn't playing enough. It's basically Lamar Jackson, but Lamar playing the Lions makes him like a minus 500 favorite.
Yeah, Josh Allen's still running 7 times a game.
All right.
I feel like that's.
You know what? I'll give in. Silas is now doing exclamation points. I'll take 3 points.
Okay, there. As long as Silas is happy, that's really what I care about.
This is what I'll do. I'm going to take 3 points, but I'm going to say finishes top 2 in QB rushing on the slate.
I'll allow it.
Okay, that's fine.
That's a concession.
I will go next, and I will go the other way with Justin Fields. I'll presume that he's going to start getting the ball downfield more, and that means the beneficiary is one Allen Robinson, who I will take to be in the Millionaire Maker winning lineup.
That seems fair to me.
Yep. 10. All right, Hayden.
Easy game.
All right, so actually, yeah, we got everybody done. Never mind. Next game up, we got Baltimore and Detroit's up next here. 29.3 implied points. Detroit 20.8 implied points. The man perhaps might be the most competition for Pete's Justin Fields wager there. And I guess as a result, Pete, I'll let you go first.
Okay. I'll say DeAndre Swift ends up in the winning Millie Maker lineup.
Okay, that's a 10-pointer. Hayden, what do you want?
Tyson Williams, 100 rushing yards and a touchdown.
Not afraid of Latavius and co getting in the mix a little bit more?
Nope. I think that Tyson Williams looks way better, and I think that the Lions can't tackle anybody.
Okay. Now, how many points is that, Spags? That's probably a 3-pointer.
I think that's probably a 3-pointer.
That's fair. I'll take it.
All right. I will say for me, boy, do we continue to ride the, you know what? The guy came up in our crystal ball segment yesterday, and the crystal ball, even though it's over there, is whispering me once again, Quintez Cephas, what's the 10-pointer for him? Is it over 15 fantasy points?
Let's not get started on the crystal ball bit. Quintez Cephas, you want to get to 10 points on him?
I would say, yeah. I feel like over 15.
No, he's projecting for 10. Cephas. 10.6 is the projection I see. What does Osimo have him at?
7.02.
Hayden, you set the line for what this needs to be a 10-pointer.
We're going to go 16.5. We'll get a touchdown, couple catches, a long one. He's the number one. No Tyrell.
Yeah, he's the number one. So, I mean, you got to aim a little higher, Spags. You're trying to
number one against Baltimore. I think Hayden said 16.5. I think that feels like a 10-pointer to me if I had to choose.
Yeah, we're going to, if Hayden wasn't here, I would have made it 19.25, but so you're getting the Hayden discount.
Good.
Look, that's fine. I'm happy to have the Hayden discount. Hayden bringing positive vibes and really generous grading of bets to the table, which is all we can ever ask of any guest.
I'm trying to lead the guests by the end of the season when we tally this stuff, so I got to be nice to you guys to get nice back for me.
It's true. Honestly, we do remember the people who win. Like, we all hold Arif in high esteem. We all hold Sal Vetri in some esteem because they came on the show and really just put their dicks in our ear is what I'm going to say. In our ear, to be clear, is what I mean.
We'll see about that.
And not the Ace Ventura style that Pete was showing for.
Alrighty then. How about we move on?
Arizona, 29.5 implied points. Jacksonville, 22 implied points in this game. It is an 8-point spread favoring Jacksonville according to the books. Only a 4-point spread favoring Arizona according to the books. Only a 4-point spread favoring Arizona according to the Edge Sports line. So maybe some value there. And I guess I'll go first on this one. And it's kind of tough to do this given what we don't know. But I'm going to take Rondale Moore off the board, and I'm going to say that he is in the Millionaire Maker winning lineup.
All right. Hayden, you go next.
AJ Green has twice as many yards as Rondale Moore and Christian Kirk.
Wow. Ooh. You were going to do the same style that I was going to do, because I was going to hedge against all my Christian Kirk and Rondale Moore love and say that AJ Green is the leading wide receiver for them. But you already did that. I will let you have that. I will say that DJ Chark is the highest scoring non-quarterback in this game.
I think that's a 10
That's a
pointer
good
given
one.
how good Arizona's been. Yeah.
Some
All right.
prayer yards for you.
Why am I on the Rondale Moore train alone? Now I feel like I thought I was doing something sharp here, just getting ahead of Pete, taking the pick first, and now you're taking AJ. You guys are taking AJ Green. That's my brand. Taking
We got to
the
be
old guy with a
zigging when
40%
everyone's zagging,
rate.
buddy.
Where's Josh in the chat? I'm sure he's fired up.
That's right. Leone and Norris are fired up over the AJ Green love.
Look, he's a 1-to-1 replacement for DeAndre Hopkins potentially. We'll see how that goes. New Orleans, 19.8 implied points. New England, 22.8 implied points. Battle of the cities with new in their name. It is a 3-point spread favoring New England at home. Edge line is pretty much close to that, -2 for them. Hayden, you can go first in this game. That I'm surprised the totals were this low, honestly. It's much uglier on paper than I think I would have guessed with a Jameis game.
I'm going Patriots defense special team scores more points than Jameis Winston.
Ooh,
wow.
Just fantasy points. I need to pick 6. I need to pick 6 bad.
That's definitely a 10-pointer.
Yep, I agree. Pete, what do you want?
I will say, do I get 10 points if Jacoby Myers outscores Alvin Kamara?
Ooh, I think so.
Yeah, if Hayden thinks so, I think so. I think the projections for Alvin Kamara, I think when you look at the longer term going back to last year, those projections looking very favorable. I think for the shorter term, probably not so much, but I think that's fair.
When Spags and I inevitably have to go to couples counseling, we're going to have Spags Hayden be our counselor. He's mediating very nicely between us today.
I'm just saying yes.
And you're putting the onus back on us to do the work, which I think is the main thing you look for in a counselor. You know what? I'll go just because I feel like I have to go the other way. Jameis, his numbers so far are baffling to me. He's only throwing 2 deep passes per game so far, which is not what I know of Jameis. But I'm going to hope that the real Jameis gets set loose here. Jameis Winston, over 4 passing touchdowns. I'll try that one more time. Pete, is that a 10-pointer?
Sure, we'll keep letting you try this.
Okay, thank you. One day it's going to work. One day we're going to get Jameis back to his former glory days of just being a video game player in real life.
Maybe one day he'll have pass catchers to throw to again.
I mean, one can only hope that'll happen for him at some point this season. Next game, Indianapolis, Carson Wentz and his 2 sprained ankles getting 21.3 implied points. Tennessee, 26.8 implied points. The line on this one's -6 for the books. Edge Sports has it as -2, so might be good to take a cover here for Indianapolis, I guess, as painful as that might be. But Hayden, I'll let you go first here. Titans and Colts, who do you want?
Michael Pittman has 24 or 25 more yards than A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. Not combined, just like each one of them. Each one of them.
All right. I was right before you went. I was like, if your hot take doesn't involve Michael Pittman, I'll be disappointed. It did not disappoint. Yeah, I'll give 25 on that with Wentz's uncertainty.
You'll give a 25-pointer?
No, sorry.
Yeah, let's go.
No. Imagine if we introduced 25 pointers. Then it'll be like
we won't do 6 7-pointers, but we'll do a 25-pointer.
Yeah.
Marlon Mack outscores Derrick Henry.
Yes. I like it.
I guess you can go second, Pete.
I'll do like similar to my DeAndre Swift call. I'll say AJ Brown winning Millie Maker lineup. I like his price at 6,500 a lot.
All right. I will say for me, oh boy, Derrick Henry one seems ill-advised. Derrick Henry going to be very chalky this week, it looks like. But you know what? I'll go the other way. I'll ebb against it, even though I don't think I believe this at all. But I'll say Derrick Henry under 10 fantasy points. Is that a 10?
Under 10, Hayden.
Man, this is tough because like if you look at the average projections, then I would say close. But like if he just doesn't find the end zone, then you get into scary waters.
Let's say this, Hayden. Let's reset it. Let's say under 7.5.
Yeah, I would say 7.5, 8.
Oof. Okay, I would take it at under 8. I wouldn't take it at under 7.5.
5 yards matter.
8, yeah,
because he's running some routes now. I think under 8 for
my Monte Carlo sim really rejects it.
I'm not running those anymore. I'm letting the professionals do it. My fucking amateur. I was basically running an abacus compared to what everybody else is doing with their sims. Next game up, we got Cincinnati.
Do you want me to block this guy or allow it?
No, I think it's fair. I mean, he can hate it. He just hates it because he ain't it, is what I'm going to say.
All right. I just have a feeling that he might fly a little too close to the sun. So just be careful. You're on watch alert.
I mean, yeah, be nice. Like, I think the thing here is we're all men watching a stream with other men. So like, maybe don't worry about my hair would be my thought. I don't know.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Unless you're saying we all look handsome, in which case.
Yeah, where'd that guy go?
Then we care deeply.
Oh,
Yes.
then it's fully allowed.
Then we put the chat on the screen and we go, great point, Lou.
No, we actually just PayPal you directly after the show if you say nice things about us.
Cincinnati 20. Actually, question for you, Hayden. How are the Underdog comments received? Like, are they a positive vibe? Or are they somewhere in between? How are you feeling about the audience that you guys have built up?
I think that it's just people playing on Underdog right now and kind of just our followers. So for right now, everyone's behaving. I am nervous that as like the Twitter followers go up, as like the YouTube followers go up, like all of a sudden you're getting into the worst people.
There was something I saw on Twitter the other day where it's like, when like some guy talking about like when, I got more successful and all of a sudden my haters and people who never met me, who hate me, like went up by 100-fold. And it's like, that is really true. And it's kind of sad. And I'm sure it's just more, people getting to see for the first time, but that's one of those internet things where it's like, you really are a victim of your own success. And that's my pontificating for the day. Cincinnati.
Let's all just sit around as Spags tells us how the internet works. Back in my day.
Yeah, look, you know what? I've been around the block. As this man bun's seen some things, Pete. I'll tell you what. Cincinnati, 20 implied points. Pittsburgh, 23 implied points. Spread on this one's -6. Edge Sports has it as -6. Excuse me. The books line, I got to clean up my lines. The books line is -3. The Edge Sports line is -6. So they really are believing in Pittsburgh for this one. I guess I'll go first in it too. I will take Jamar Chase, 100 yards and a touchdown. Pete, is that 10?
Jamar Chase, 100 yards and a touchdown. We're looking at, what would that be? Like 22, 23 points?
Yeah, depending on the catches he gets.
What do you think, Hayden?
110 yards.
110.
Okay. All right. If Hayden's being tough, I'll take it. But 110 and a touchdown, that seems fair. Hayden, what do you want?
I want Chase Claypool sets a career high in receiving yards.
Okay. I mean, that's a 10-pointer. What is his career high?
110. That seems kind of low.
Okay.
That's because he had like those 4 touchdown games that seemed much bigger than they were.
That's still a big number.
Oh, I agree.
I don't think this is a 10-pointer. I'm not going to try to argue it. I'm going to take Tyler Boyd over Najee Harris points.
I like it.
Okay. That's not a bad one at all. Also, Hayden, question for you, because I know you do care about some of the film grind. Pittsburgh blitzing under 10% of the time now. Why do you think that is, given that's all they've done, and to the point that their city has been renamed Blitzburg at various times in the last few years?
I'm not sure, and I'm not sure they're going to do it this week. Just the Bengals are just like going empty protection, and just Joe Burrow's not making anybody miss, and their linemen suck so bad I think they can just like rush with 4 and win. And like literally Joe Burrow's just like not moving, and he's just like falling over. So I'm not sure if we're going to see that tick up this week.
Yeah, weird numbers for Blitzburg. For Pittsburgh, the former Blitzburg so far. Miami, 20.3 implied points. Las Vegas, 23.8 implied points. The book line for this one's -4. The Edge Sports line is -6, favoring the Vegas. So not believers in Jacoby Brissett at QB. Pete, what do you want in this spot?
How many points is Darren Waller outscoring Jacoby Brissett?
Not a lot.
3?
I feel like that's 1.
Their projections are probably pretty close, right?
Yeah, I'm seeing Osmo having Waller at 20 and then Brissett at 17.3.
All right, how many points do I need to give? Darren Waller minus how many points to get the 3?
I mean, for me, it would have to be like -15.
No.
I don't believe in Jacoby Brissett. Do we not remember those Colts days?
No, you're saying that Darren Waller has to outscore Jacoby Brissett.
He's scoring 35 this week.
For a 10-pointer? Yeah.
I don't want a 10-pointer. I want a 3.
Okay, for a 3-pointer, I'd say outscoring him by 7.5.
I'm not taking that.
I would say like -3.5. I think it should be kind of close.
I'm not taking this bet. I'm getting handled.
I just think Waller's really good, and I think Brissett, the jury is very much out. He's probably better than Tua, but he's probably still not good.
All right, I'm pivoting. I'm saying Will Fuller waltzes right in and is the highest scoring non-QB in this game.
Okay,
that's fair. Totally fair. Yeah.
Hayden, what do you want?
I want Henry Rugg's career high in receptions, so he has to at least get 6.
Okay, so his career high is 5?
Yeah.
That is wild. Okay, I like it.
He's getting 5.5 targets a game, so yeah, I guess that's right in range then. I'll allow it. I'll take, you know what? I'll go for the gusto then. I'll take Darren Waller doubles up Jacoby Brissett for 10 points.
There we go. We're back in.
You need to check your projections. This is out of control. I thought I was like doing something, slightly favoring Waller, and you are so down on Brissett.
I just don't. I mean, I think Brissett's a perfectly replacement level player. I just think Waller is legitimately very good in that. I don't know.
All right.
That's how I'm feeling. Waller's looking like a man possessed. I've watched maybe too much Raiders so far this year, but I do think he's looking unbelievably beastly in the way people wanted him to be last year. Next game up, we got the Jets getting 15 point. Oh my God, 15.5 implied points for the Jets. Denver 26 implied points. So people buying in here on the Teddy Bridgewater narrative. Minus 11 points in the books, minus 10 points according to Edge Sports. Their 100,000 simulation. So things looking good for Denver here. Hayden, what do you want?
I want Noah Fant outscores Travis Kelce by 3. I'll take a 10-pointer there.
Yeah, that's a 10-pointer.
That's a 10. That's a 10.
I will say the top 5 scores in this game, including quarterbacks, will be Denver Broncos.
Wow.
So not a single Jet within the top 5 scores.
I think that's pretty tough to do. That's a 10.
Yeah, that's a 10. That's just like logistically hard to do. Like it's not even, I think that's a brave take, but one that seems reasonable enough. So that's a good 10-pointer. I'll take Teddy Bridgewater. How much do I want to? Teddy Bridgewater, millionaire maker winning quarterback is what I'll go for.
That's 10.
I don't know how much I really believe that, but why is he throwing downfield now? He's been in the league for like 10 years.
Wait. Since when do we have to believe the things we say on here?
Yeah.
We do just get roped into bad takes time and time again.
I was like, because I need to undo some stuff.
Next game up, a potential shootout here that we talked about earlier. Tampa Bay, 28.3 implied points. The Rams, 27.3 implied points. This one, it is a 1-point spread favoring Tampa Bay on the road, according to the books. Edge Sports has it flipped, thinks that the Rams are a 1-point favorite here. And I think I'm due to go first in one of these. And I'm going to take, Robert Woods. What's a 10-pointer for Robert Woods? I feel like 25 fantasy points. Does that seem right?
I think it's projected for about 16?
Yeah, I'm seeing him for a little bit under 15.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's 25.
25. I'm seeing him at 17 points. I'll give you 26.
Yeah. Also, D-White's asking what happened to the ridiculous Pro Jets takes bid every week. Was that our show? Did we ever have a Pro Jets take ever?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I like Zach Wilson more than Tyler does over at Underdog, but besides that.
Josh, literally the entire summer was like, got to get those Jet stacks. They're very cheap. And I kept warning him. I was like, oh, it's the Jets. Don't forget, it's the Jets.
I'm leaving a candle on for Elijah Moore, but yeah, it does not.
Same.
In Carter's role, both the rookies, I think by the end of the season could look pretty good.
How's your Denzel Mims candle doing?
It's basically not distinguishable to the human eye, but if you put it under a microscope, you could see a little flicker.
It's really more of a candle in the wind, some could say. That one. Hayden, what do you want in this game with Tampa Bay and the Rams?
I want Adam Levitan's going to tweet something about the age model with Tom Brady and Gronk by the time you record your show tomorrow.
Wow.
He's going to give in. Something. We'll keep it ambiguous, but Levitan has to tweet something about Brady and Gronk just going crazy.
Before the games start or during?
No, before you guys record tomorrow, whenever you have to grade this, that's when the tweet will come out.
Okay. I mean, that's a 10-pointer because not only do you need that to happen, but then you need Levitan, who's notoriously pretty, stingy with what he tweets, to fire that out there. So yeah, that's a 10-pointer.
Let's go.
Oh, it's going next level for the bets. Hayden really bringing a whole different facet to this game.
Yeah.
All right, Pete, got anything for me?
Yeah, let's say, let's just have some fun. Let's say, how do I get a 10-pointer if Scotty Miller outscores one of Chris Godwin or Mike Evans?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm not even sure he's going to get 100% of the snaps without AB. So yeah, I'll give it to you.
Thank you, Kings.
Next game up, another potential shootout. Seattle, 28.5 implied points. Minnesota, 26.5 implied points. Line on this one is 2-point Minnesota home dog. Edge Sports has it as Minnesota being a 2-point favorite here, so kind of interesting and wrinkle for that. But Pete, what do you want in this game between two teams that are giving up a lot of production so far?
All right, this is Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this game is going to be so fun. I'm really looking forward to this one. How crazy do we want to get? How crazy do we want to get?
Illogically crazy is what I'm rooting for.
All right. I think it's enough already with this Tyler Lockett stuff. DK Metcalf winning Millie Maker lineup. He goes absolutely nuclear in this game.
All right, Hayden, what do you want?
I wrote down Twitter erupts because Justin Jefferson gets a taunting flag after a big play.
That is so oddly specific. I love it. That's 10.
There we go.
I will say Tyler Lockett doubles up DK Metcalf for 10. I don't know if this double up strategy is going to work, but damn it, I'm going to go down to the ship this week.
I like it.
All right. That's we got one more game here on the main slate. Then we got the Sunday night game. Actually, no, this is the Sunday night game. My bad. Green Bay, 23.5 implied points. San Francisco, 26.5 implied points. Line on this one is -3. Edge Sports has it as -4, favoring San Francisco. So that's nothing too crazy there. Actually, I guess really the fact that San Francisco's favored at all might be crazier than I might have just sold there. So Hayden, what do you want for Sunday Night Football? And keep in mind, we do give 10 points for a single game winning cap that I'll say. I won't give the branding of the website that's on.
Good, thank you. Yeah, like you said, though, I was shocked that the Packers implied total is like 21st this week. I thought that was that's got to be one of the lowest of Aaron Rodgers' entire career. I didn't get the captain memo, but I will go. Well, we can kind of correlate this. Trey Sermon outscores Antonio Gibson. I'm thinking big things for Trey Sermon.
Wow, that's
put him in your captain.
That's a 10-pointer for sure.
What is there a backup if he somehow doesn't get out of the concussion protocol for you?
I'm taking that risk. Let's get my 10 points.
That is the ultimate YOLO. Pete, what do you want here?
This is what happens when you grow up binge watching Ace Ventura. You give 0 fucks.
That's right.
All right. It's just Trey Sermon, baby. Ride or die. I will say George Kittle in the captain. Similar. It's enough already. We're due for the monster George Kittle game.
I will go a direction that killed me this week, and I will go down with this ship one more time as well. That's, I guess, my theme of the week. I will take Marquez Valdes-Scantling, showdown winning captain.
Wow, you crazy.
Let's do it. His air yards right now are out of control.
They're going to pay off one day, Hayden. That's what I tell myself every time we have these air yards outliers. And then by week 11, when I'm not playing the guy anymore, he's going to crush.
You're doing what I did with Darius Slayton during Ride or Die last year, where I just picked him to go off every single game, and I was right like 1.5 times.
I think that might even be a little heavy on
No, shut up.
All right, Hayden, give us the plugs here. Obviously, you're over at Underdog Fantasy doing great content there. The site itself also one of the best interfaces, best user experience you will find in the fantasy community. But what do you want to plug here? Say whatever you want. If you just want to plug Ace Ventura 2, When Nature Calls, feel free to do that as well.
Well, first of all, that is the better one of the 2 Ace Ventura movies. If you want to hear Josh's Jets takes, you can find us on the Underdog Football Show. We got 3 shows a week on the YouTube channel and on your podcast feeds.
Pete, what are your plugs here? What shows are you doing this weekend?
I am off the rest of the afternoon and Saturday. Lucky me. No, I love doing shows. If I could just stream 24/7 Spags, I would. I am going to be back on Saturday morning at 10. Do a final kind of DFS cram, check out final injuries, projections, ownership, all that good stuff.
Oh, actually, we should let Hayden drop off. So Hayden, give one more plug and then drop off, and let's do the randomizer.
What? I'm going to tout Football Outsiders here. I use all their stuff with offensive pace, and I do adjusted sack rates. Those are the 2 stats I look at. I use like 8 stats every week. Those are 2 of them.
Oh, Hayden, I appreciate you giving your last plug to be for this show that's paying Pete so handsomely and paying me marginally on a day-to-day basis.
Electricity bills they're no joke. Got to support.
All right, go check out Hayden. Follow at Hayden Winks. Go check out his work over at Underdog. We appreciate you doing the show, man.
Thank you, guys. Hayden. Later.
Peace. All right, catch you later. Let's do the giveaway now. Of course, this is our big giveaway for all the people who gave us 5 stars and a review on Apple Podcasts. If you want to join that illustrious community, please do that yourself. Go to Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars and a review on the Splash Play podcast. We'll be doing these drawings, I guess, weekly for spots on the Thursday show. So Pete even branded it. Look at you.
Come on, Spags. I mean, I live for this kind of stuff. So just to be clear, we're going to do, one name for a guest spot next week.
Yes. So this will be for our Thursday show. They could build a lineup with us, or, if you're doing great, we won't kick you off. If things are running a little lukewarm, perhaps we'll go, hey, give us your plugs. And then,
do you know what I think we should maybe do? Spags has always have at least, I just dropped my crystal ball. I think we should have an alternate just in case someone, maybe has stuff going on at 2:30 p.m. in the middle of the day on a Thursday.
What do you think the probability of that is? Are these people, do they have jobs? Is the question. Tell us if you have a job in the comments. Let us know.
Yeah. So maybe I'm trying to think about the best way to do it, because we do want to keep encouraging reviews where you get added and we do additional, but it would be nice maybe if we have a log or like once you get added to the list, like you have right of first refusal kind of thing.
Maybe it's like a ticket. Like they could use it at some point that works out for everybody if they can't.
There you go. I like that. It's a ticket you can redeem when we can schedule it.
All right, so let's spin the wheel here and make the deal with our first community guest here on Splash Play. We're excited to see. Look at that wheel go.
Zach Berg or Ra Arcalthea?
Arcalthea, yeah, one of our most cherished listeners, probably won a Millionaire Maker, but you are our first winner here, so you get a ticket to appear on Splash Play, and I guess, Pete, let's give away a second one.
Yeah, we'll do 2, and then I'll do a randomizer box. Also, how should they contact us, Spags? What's the best way for...
If you DM at Splash Play Pod, I'll handle that part.
Okay. If for some reason you're not on Twitter, leave a comment on the video with the best way to get in contact. I would say also if you don't have Twitter, the Discord actually is probably the best. Like you can hop in there. The link's down below to the Deposit Kingdom. There's a Splash Play.
The Splash Play channel is pretty quiet besides the tweets that are auto posted in there, because I forget to chime in, and it's people have a lot of things going on in the Discord. But yes, comment in there. We will find you and we'll get you on board.
All right. So we'll get 2 names for. This is for another guest spot ticket.
Will it be my pseudonym? Will it be my girlfriend's pseudonym? No. Chris Canessy. Okay, he was in the chat last week, so good.
There you go. Silas says anyone who does anything afternoon on Friday is lying to themselves. That's true. This would be, I believe the guest spot is going to be for Thursdays though, right, Chris?
Yes. I mean, we might have some flexibility if we need to. If we don't have a guest, perhaps we can think about that way. But we'll definitely do our best to fulfill everybody getting a ticket here to appear on the show. And you want to do the randomizer box too?
Yeah. This final one is for a randomizer box. If you win, just contact me so I can give you a link to get a free randomizer box that does come with a free $25 ticket on Underdog Fantasy, as well as some dog toys.
The best, and cat toys, really, as long as your cat's enthusiastic and willing to.
JP Waller or Matt? It's so close. JP Waller. Congratulations, JP. Hit me up on Twitter or the Discord. We will get you your randomizer box. What a great day for the community, Spags.
Look, I'm excited. I said it before, if we get every single person who leaves us a review on this show, I'll feel perfectly satisfied to do that. So please continue to leave us 5 stars and review an Apple Podcast. If we somehow break into the top 200, I feel like I'll feel I think, Pete, that'd be a feather in our cap to accomplish that. And it's so help me God, if in a vacuum gets there before this show, Pete, I will come for you and everything you love.
Wow. that really escalated. I thought we were just kind of, easing into the weekend there.
Well, I didn't lead into the acting for Ace Ventura, so I had to really be dramatic for that one.
Justin, I do feel like I'm added in that territory with so many wheel spins that I'm like watching Prices Right. Like, oh yeah, that's landing on 80 cents.
Yeah, it's a great wheel. I mean, you and the randomizer, I feel like I've done great PR for that wheel.
Yeah, seriously, wheelofnames.com. I mean, hook a brother up with a proper sponsorship.
Can you add them to your NASCAR Rolodex?
Yeah, I'm gonna put Wheel of Names just superimposed over your face up for the show.
Also, my pillow just fell. So anybody who didn't watch Splash Play last season, you could see some of the paintings that my girlfriend did that look like child art that are still over on our printer for some reason.
You make fun of those, but if she made NFTs of that, you probably would never have to work another day in your life.
I mean, it was to that, OnlyFans. There's a lot of things we've left on the table here during the pregnancy period that could have been profitable for us as a family, but neither here nor there.
Neither here nor there. All right, Spags, you normally lead us to a crescendo. Can you do it in a non
No, I just want to keep hanging out. No, we appreciate all of you guys for being here. Of course, make sure to follow at Hayden Winks. He was a great guest, brought some positive energy here and some handsomeness. So go check him out in his Underdog works. Make sure to follow at Peter Overzet. Of course, subscribe to this channel. Check out all the content going on. Follow at Chris Spags. See me do Splash Play every couple days. That's what I'm doing right now. Also, go check out Football Outsiders. Are helping us put on this show. footballoutsiders.com/subscribe. Get packages for just $5 a month to see DVOA, wide receiver DVOA, lots of things that'll help you make better lineups on a holistic level. So go check them out at footballoutsiders.com/subscribe. And we'll be back on Monday, 2:30 Eastern. So see you guys then and enjoy your weekends.